Hi guys, welcome to Proto Point. So this is the fifth part of our tutorial on creating URL sorting application in Node.js with Flutter integration. So in our previous part, we have created a API for user registration, as you can see over here, and a login API for user login. So in this part, we are going to create a API through which a user can submit his long URL, and the long URL will get converted into a short URL. So this is the thing we are going to cover in this video tutorial. So let's get started. Okay, so as we have created a separate file for user API, let's create a separate file for URL purpose. So in the routes folder, let me create a file by name url.routes.js. So in this file, we are going to create two APIs. One is for URL submission, where the long URL will get converted into a short URL. And another API is URL redirection, so that a user can use the short URL for redirecting himself into a long URL. Okay, so let's get started. So here, first of all, we need a route. So let me create a variable by name route that will make use of express, require express. So from this express, we are going to import routes class. So through this, we can just create APIs as we have done in our previous tutorials. So post method, let me create, and then let me create a API URL submit, and here let me create a callback request response function, that is the HTTP response request function. And now let me export this module, export.route. Okay, so basically when the user submits a long URL to convert it into a short URL, we must store it into a database, right? Okay, so let's check out the database that we have created in our previous tutorial. So let me close all the files. So this we need, and this one we need, that is URL model.js. Okay, so here is the schema that we have created in our previous tutorial. So here, as you can see, I need to submit a user ID who is going to submit his long URL. Okay, and the long URL should have a short URL. Okay, so these are the three data that we need to store it into in our MongoDB database. Okay, so these three parameters we need. So from the front end, we are going to accept two parameters, sorry. Okay, so here const is equal to request dot body. Okay, so in from the front end, we are going to pass two parameters. One is user ID of the user who is going to submit the URL, and the second parameter is the long URL. So these are the two parameters that is user is going to submit from the front end. Okay, and this one will get generated at the back end. Okay, so in our previous tutorial, as you can see, we have installed a package called as shortid. Okay, so this is the package that randomly generates some alphabets or some characters or some words. Okay, so that we can make use of as a short URL for the long URL. So here let's me import that, import shortid, require shortid. So now by making use of it, I can just create a short ID for that. Okay, so short, I can name it as URL for this variable. So short ID dot generate. Okay, so this will just generate a random characters or alphabets or some string. So now I want to store all these data into a database, in this database. Okay, so let's do that. So for this, I need to import this model. So here const URL submit schema, model required model URL model. Okay, so here const data submit URL submit, I can name it as URL submit is equal to new URL submit model. Okay, so over here I need to pass all this data. So like this and this one. So make sure that this name exactly match with your database schema. So you can see my username is username, long URL, so everything should match. So it is matching. Short URL, so this should match. So I'll just copy this and paste it over here. So it is matching. Okay, so if you have named this variable something like random URL, then you must make use of this, something like this, while creating the data. Like this you can just pass. Right, yeah. Now await URL submit dot save. So this will store our data into our MongoDB database. So as soon as this complete, I need to respond to the front end. So response JSON, okay, status true. and success. So here I can just make use of short URL. Short URL is equal to http localhost 3000 port and the short URL that we have created just now. Okay, so here I need to make use of tilt. Okay, so this is random URL. Okay, so let me add it in a catch, try and catch block. So this code over here, and if I get any error, I can just show a error to the user. Okay, so I will just add false, and here I will just add a message, something went wrong. Yeah, so now this file I need to import it in our app.js like we have done for our route. Okay, so let me do that. URL route app.use. So we are going to just attach it with our root API as a middleware URL route. So now if I run my app by making use of npm or node index, so you can see it is running on 3000 port, and let me hit this IP or the API by making use of postman. Okay, so post method API name URL submit, and in the body property I need to pass some data in a JSON format. So here I need to pass first of all URL user ID. So user ID I need to pass and long URL. So I will just take a long URL from somewhere over here. Okay, so I'll just copy this thing, paste it over here, and I need a user ID. So for this I will just refer my MongoDB database. So in our previous tutorial we have created this users for testing. So I will just take this user ID and paste it over here. So now if I submit, you can see I am getting this uh, response. Okay, so I think so I made some mistake in the code, so let me check. Okay, yeah, so here I need to just add a, okay, save this file, restart it. So let me submit the same URL, or yeah, same URL again. So you can see I get this. So now when the user makes use of this short URL that got created, he must redirect to this website. So for this we need to create another API for that, for redirection. Okay, so now you can see I cannot find the get it is showing. Okay, so this will be done in the next part, that is the sixth part. Okay, thanks for watching. Please do subscribe. Proto Code Point. Thank you.